I saw a lady wearing a hat the other day and I thought it might be a good idea, and I don't think it's working. Can you believe it's already June? I had a very hard time conceptualizing this to myself earlier today, which is why I'm dressed like a clown, trying to emulate the summer vibes. Hello fellow readers and readresses, and welcome to the fourth installment of everybody's favorite TBR game, The Lord of the Reeds. For those of you who aren't familiar with the game and would like to learn more about it, you can watch the first installment over here, and for the rest of us, let's go through the rules really quick. We have this board, two six-sided dice that we roll 5 times to equate to 5 books. We roll the dice, we move around the map, we land on a tile, and we pick a book to match the prompt that is on this tile. The different types of tiles that we have are empty tile, which equates to the random bookshelf jar pick. This is the random bookshelf jar. It has all the books that I currently have on my bookshelves and haven't read yet. There's more than 300 books in this jar currently. And then we have the 2023 TBR jar tile. Once we land on this tile, we dip into my 2023 TBR jar, where I currently have a little bit more than 20 books, I believe, and it's all the books that I deemed a must-read for 2023. And then we have the series jar tile. Once I land on this one, I'm gonna dip into my series glass as of right now. I promise I'm gonna get a real jar one of these days, but I am better at procrastinating than actually doing what I said I would. So here we have currently all the series that I'm in the middle of reading and haven't DNF'd yet. There is more than 50 series here. I am just as embarrassed as you think I should be. And then we have the prompt card style. This is one of my favorite tiles to land on. Once we land on it, we're gonna go and select a prompt card. This is my prompt card deck. I have 54 cards here to equate to 54 prompts, 2 of which I have already selected during the last TBR game. And then we have all the genre tiles. We have graphic novel, fantasy, sci-fi, mystery and thriller, classics, manga, non-fiction, and historical fiction. Then we have a few other special tiles. We have the +1 book, which every time we land on this one, we dip into the bookshelf jar and then we roll 1 extra roll. We also have the bookstore tile. When we land on this one, we go either to the bookstore or to the library and I pick a book to read from there. And last, but absolutely definitely not least, we have my favorite tile, and that is the mission tile. Landing on this tile will get me to the mission cards. There are 9 of these, each of which contains a specific mission that I need to complete, upon which I will unlock one of the members of the Fellowship of the Reed. There are obviously 9 of those. I have already unlocked one, and that is Gimli. And I think that pretty much summarizes the rules of the game. This week, however, I have 2 great news that I would like to share with you, and the first one is that we now have a digital version of The Lord of the Reeds. It was hinted to me that this is something necessary by one of my subscribers, Honorata. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this correctly. Thank you for bringing attention to this. I had the idea to do that a long time ago, but I didn't know whether people will actually care for something like that. And now it's done, in many ways thanks to you. You can access the link to the digital version in the description of this video. Of course, if you prefer and have the opportunity to play the game physically, you can do so. The printable files are also in the video description. And for the second good news that we have this week, this has been a long time coming ever since I announced the game to begin with. We now have all the characters from the Fellowship of the Reed available to you. Now, of course, in order to get those, you will have to complete the missions as the game entails. But now, once you do, you can actually download the characters both with a background and without, so you can use them any way you want to. And you can do that from the mission document itself. I have updated it, so if you have downloaded it previously, you will have to do so again. And the link to download each character is right under the mission, next to the explanation as to which character does this mission unlock. You can also do that through the digital version, which you can see currently happening on your screen with the character of Gimli, since it's a character that I myself have already unlocked, and I wanted to show you the style in which the characters are made. I hope you have a lot of fun with them because I had so much fun creating them. And I think that's all for housekeeping for this week, and plenty of explanation already, so let's get into the game. Time for roll number 1. By the way, last week I landed on historical fiction, and you can see that I'm now playing with the new character of Gimli as my avatar. Let's go! Something nice, please. And we have a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we landed on prompt cards. Yay! Alright, this is great. I am really happy with the changes that I made in the previous installment of The Lord of the Reeds when I added all the new prompt card tiles, because finally we're landing on these and I am super excited about them. By the way, if you haven't seen the style on the cards, I really like it, and I hope you do too. Now that we shuffled them nicely, let's pick a card. What is it gonna be? I think this one. And we have a standalone book. Okay, that is great. I'm gonna have to think about it a little bit because everything I can think of right now is immediately books part of series. But let's go to the bookshelves and see what we're gonna find. Okay, so I looked through many books, but I ultimately decided to stop on a classic, and that is 1984 by George Orwell. This needs absolutely no introduction. I'm pretty sure you all know that it's a dystopian classic, and I can't believe that at the age of 36 I haven't yet read it, but it's a reality. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read it this month, and hopefully I'm gonna like it. I've heard great things about it from people whose opinions I respect very much, so I have high hopes. All right, roll number 1 is history. Time for roll number 2. And we have an 8. All right, all big numbers today. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and we landed on prompt cards again. All right, once more, let's go into the prompt cards and see what I'm gonna get this time. I'm gonna pick this card. And we have a science fiction book. Okay, this is gonna be nice. I have been feeling like reading science fiction for a while now, so let's go and see what I'm gonna pick. This hat was a mistake. The choice has been made. I looked through, again, many books. It was so difficult to choose because there were so many that I wanted to pick, but I ultimately decided to stop on one that I've been procrastinating reading for a very long time, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Everybody who I've spoken to about this book has said amazing things about it, and I think the tropes that this book contains are also something that is very up to my taste. It looks a little chunky, but in reality is actually less than 500 pages, so I am not worried at all. I have high expectations for this one as well, so hopefully I'm not going to be disappointed. 2 rolls down, 3 more to go, hopefully. So let's go into roll number 3. And we have a 9. A lot of big numbers today. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yay! And we landed on the mission style. All right, it's time for the mission cards. I am so excited about this. Oh my God, you can't believe. You'd think I wasn't the one who created this whole thing, but whatever. I tend to forget very quickly, so I might surprise myself and probably will. Let's see, which one? I'm thinking this one. Can you read this? Wait, like this? I have picked the worst font for reading, but it is what it is. The Weakness of Men. Finish a DNF. I take it all back. I'm no longer excited about this. Okay, let me look through the list of DNFs that I have done in my life. It's not a big list. I don't often DNF books. I'm gonna look through them and I'll come back with the book that's gonna get a second chance. Okay, so looking through all the books that I DNF'd, and I'm doing so in my reading diary table. If you are not familiar with the concept, you can watch my video, I'll link it over here. But looking through them, the thought of reading them kind of puts me already into a reading slump. There is only one that I'm kind of willing to give a second chance to. I DNF'd it only because I kind of couldn't stand the main character, but I think I can look past that because the plot was, on the other hand, somewhat interesting, and the book is Vampire Diaries by Richelle Mead, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I know I am blaspheming to a lot of you because I know this is the favorite book of a lot of people, but I read it for the first time when I was 35, so I think you can understand my lack of excitement and enjoyment and relatability, I'm guessing, since this is a book that was made for people 20 years younger than me, basically. I'm willing to look past my aversion and give the book a second chance. I've been told by my friend who, at the time I was buddy reading it with, she read it until the end and she loved it, and she said there were some nice plot twists later on, so hopefully I will be proven wrong and I might even enjoy it. I don't have it as a physical copy here, but I already have it as an ebook, so that's how I'm gonna read it. Okay, so roll number 3 was both great and not that great because I got, I think, the worst of the missions in terms of prompt that I can remember making, but to be honest, I don't remember exactly what I put in all of them, so it's gonna be a surprise to me as well. Either way, we got a mission, and that is a nice thing, and maybe I will even change my mind about a book that I didn't previously like. Fingers crossed. Now let's go into roll number 4. Come on, nice things. And we have a 12. Wow, a big number. All right, let's go. Big numbers today all day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we landed on prompt cards again. By the way, if you see some scratches here, it's my cat who is destroying my board progressively. Well, after not landing on the prompt cards for a very long time, now I can't stop landing on them, and to be honest, I don't hate it. Let's go into them one more time and see what book number 4 is supposed to be. This one. Is it the correct way? Nope. And we have a book from a favorite author. This is a great prompt. Immediately Brandon Sanderson comes to mind, but let's see what's gonna be. Alright, I decided to go into an unexpected direction and pick an author that I have read only 2 books from before, but I loved both of them. And the author is Margaret Rogerson, and the book is Sorcery of Thorns. I own 3 of Margaret Rogerson's books, and I read An Enchantment of Ravens and Vespertine already, and I loved both of them, and this is the only one that I own and haven't read yet. And I even recently got the special edition of Illumicrate for it because I thought it was gorgeous when I saw it, and it is indeed. It has also very nice art on the back of it, and so I thought, hey, I got this book, I've been eyeing it for a very long time, and why not give it a chance? I think it's gonna be a great read for me. I don't know if it's appropriate for the summer, but either way, I made my choice, so I'm gonna do it. Book number 4 has been selected. I am so happy about it, so let's go into the probably last roll for this month. Come on. And we have a 7. Let's see what's gonna be the last book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we landed on a fantasy. Okay, this is great because it's vague and most of the books that I own are fantasy anyway, so I'm gonna go pick something to read. Okay, I decided to go with Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. This is the 5th and I think last book in the Percy Jackson series. I read the 4th one, The Battle of the Labyrinth, last month, and I wanted to pick this one right away, but I didn't have the opportunity, and now I'm putting it on my TBR so I can finally finish this lovely series. This whole journey with this series has been great for me, and I think Rick Riordan has done an amazing job translating Greek mythology into modern life and creating this lovely adventures for these young characters. And I think had I read it when I was a kid, I would have loved it even more, but even as a grown adult, I'm still having a great time with it. And so my TBR for June will include 1984 by George Orwell for a standalone book, Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian for a fantasy book, A Sorcery of Thorn by Margaret Rogerson for a book by a favorite author, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir for a sci-fi book, and Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead for a book that I have previously DNF'd and am giving a second chance to. But that's not all. I also have some leftover books from May, the first of which is Echo Burning by Lee Child, which is the 5th book in the Jack Reacher series. I am already like 70% into it, so I have no doubt that I'll be finishing it very soon. Then we have Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, which is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series. I'm having a great time with it, but I haven't finished it yet. Hopefully I'll be able to do so quickly. And the last book that's left over from May is The Second Sleep by Robert Harris. This is a historical fiction standalone, and I haven't even started it yet, although I really want to, so we'll see. On top of all of that, I do 2 monthly challenges every single month. The first of which is Adventure in Eldia, created by G from Book Roast, and the prompt for this month is to read a book with a prologue. So I decided for this one, because none of the books that I've picked so far has a prologue, I decided to read Rebel's Creed by Daniel B. Green, which is a somewhat dark fantasy and the 2nd book in the Lawful Time series, and Daniel Green, the author, is a booktuber himself. I read the 1st book, which is a novella, like 2 years ago, and I've been wanting to read this one ever since, and I don't know why it took me so long to pick it up, but I am doing so now, so there. And the second reading challenge that I do is the Buzzword Reading Challenge, created by Kayla from Books and Lala, and the word for June is other. And so I looked through my bookshelves, and the only book that I found that has other in the title is The Call of Cthulhu and Other Weird Stories by H.P. Lovecraft. Now, I'm a bit of a wimp and I generally try to avoid reading scary books, but I've been trying to branch out and kind of exit my comfort zone with my reads recently, so I'm gonna give this one a try. I've heard amazing things about it. It's cosmic horror, so it might be more interesting than your regular contemporary horror, and I'm looking forward to it. H.P. Lovecraft is a staple when it comes to horror and fantasy in general, and I know that his works have influenced some of my favorite authors, so I'm looking forward to trying this out. And so with all the books that I selected this month and with all the books left over from the previous month, I have a total of 10 books to read in June, so it's gonna be a bit of a challenge, but I'm hopeful. I think we're gonna do great because I am excited about every single one of these books, and yeah, let's hope for a good reading month. I hope you enjoyed watching this TBR video, and I'd be super curious to know what's on your TBR for June. Also, are you playing the Lord of the Reeds? If so, please let me know. I am just dying to know how is it going for you. And again, if you'd like to either download the printable files or play the digital version of the game, you can do so from the links in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to see how I did with my TBR for May, check out this video. Bye!